He begged me. Please don't tell him. You'll destroy her life. It was just an emotional affair. I stayed quiet, looking at the message I was about to send to her fiancé. She's getting married in 2 weeks. He pleaded. I finally looked up at him. I know. The clock is ticking. I'm still trying to get my head around this. But it's been a horrendous 24 hours. My partner of 7 years. Let's call him X30SM. And I30SF are over. Just like that. And it's because he's been having an affair with a coworker. B. For the last year and a half. It happened the way it always seems to happen in movies. He left his iPad on the coffee table. And a message from her popped up on the screen. It wasn't anything explicit. Just can't stop thinking about yesterday. But the name wasn't one I knew. And my stomach just dropped. I didn't even have a plan. I just picked up the iPad, walked into the bedroom where he was getting dressed, and said, "Who is B?" He didn't even try to lie. It was like I'd pricked a balloon. And the whole ugly story just deflated out of him. He admitted everything. For 18 months. They'd been having what he called an emotional affair. Secret dates for lunch, drinks after work, and a constant stream of sexually charged texts. He kept insisting they never crossed the physical line. No kissing. No sex. Because they were both committed to their respective partners. As if that was some kind of honorable badge he deserved for his restraint. My brain was short-circuiting trying to process that logic. You're committed. So you just do everything but the one final act. How does that make sense? It got worse. He told me that about a year ago. He actually asked B to leave her boyfriend for him. She said no. But that didn't stop them. They just kept meeting. Multiple times a week. He showed me some of the texts. And they're full of them complaining about how hard it is to stay with me and her fiancé when the temptation between them is so strong. But here's the part that is completely blowing my mind. B is engaged. Her wedding is in 2 weeks. And they had a plan. X explained it to me with a straight face. As if it were a perfectly reasonable business arrangement. They were going to stop seeing each other for the entire month of June. Out of respect for her marriage. Then, they would both be traveling for work in July and August. So they agreed to go no contact. But in September, when they were back in the office together, they planned to resume communication. I just stared at him. It wasn't a breakup. It wasn't an it's over. It was an intermission. My first thought wasn't even about my own pain anymore. It was, oh my God. This other guy is about to marry her. This poor, unsuspecting man is 2 weeks away from signing a legal document. Committing his life to someone who has already built an escape hatch and scheduled a date to use it. After X finished explaining their plan, I felt this weird, cold clarity wash over me. The shock was gone, and something else took its place. I walked out of the room, picked up my phone, and found B on social media. It wasn't hard. I wrote her a message. I didn't yell. I didn't call her names. I just stated the facts. I know about the affair with X. You have 48 hours to tell your fiancé everything. Or I will. Then, before she could reply, I blocked her. I wasn't interested in a conversation. This was her mess to clean up. And I was just giving her the dignity of doing it herself. Not even 5 minutes later, X's phone, which was sitting on the kitchen counter, started buzzing nonstop. He picked it up, and I watched his face shift. The look of a sad, broken man who'd been caught was gone. In its place was sheer panic. He looked at me, his eyes wide. "What did you do?" he asked, his voice shaking. He told me she'd sent him screenshots of my message, frantically asking him to fix this. And just like that, he was activated. The man who had just been weeping about how he'd destroyed our 7-year relationship was now pacing our living room, desperately trying to protect his affair partner. It was the most surreal thing I've ever witnessed. "You can't do this," he started, running a hand through his hair. "This is their life. You can't just drop a bomb on it. You need to let them sort it out for themselves." I just looked at him. My brain was trying to catch up. Them? You mean the cheater and the person she's lying to? How are they supposed to sort out a problem when one of them doesn't even know it exists? I told him that. He just shook his head. "It's not your place to meddle. This is between them." He insisted that B would never tell her fiancé. So my ultimatum was pointless. He argued that I was just being vindictive. But the more he talked, the more I realized he wasn't really seeing me anymore. He wasn't talking to the woman whose heart he had just shattered. He was talking to a problem that was threatening BS future. He was trying to manage a crisis for her. Every word he said. Be the bigger person. Don't ruin his life. Think about the consequences. Made one thing crystal clear. His primary loyalty wasn't with me. It still wasn't. It was with her. And that's when I knew I couldn't back down. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about the fact that I was the only person in this whole equation who seemed to be thinking about the guy waiting at the altar. So here I am. The 48-hour clock I gave her is almost up. And the silence from her is deafening. I know for a fact she hasn't told him. X hasn't let up. He swung from pleading to angry and back again. He's told me I'm about to ruin a good man's life over a mistake. He's asked me if I can live with being the person who destroys a 10-year relationship and cancels a wedding 2 weeks before it happens. He's trying to frame my choice as an act of destruction. And his words are heavy. They sit in the pit of my stomach, making me second-guess myself. But then I think about their plan. The one where they take a little break for her to get married and then pick things back up in September. My brain keeps replaying that part. And I see it for what it is. It's not a plan for ending an affair. It's a strategic pause. They are not under the impression that what they did was a relationship-ending betrayal. They genuinely believe that if they just wait it out, the tension will fade, and they can settle into being normal friends. It's the absolute arrogance that gets me. They see their infidelity not as a moral failure but as an inconveniently intense feeling that just needs a brief cool-down period. I am fully aware that I am in exactly the kind of situation that could turn someone into a crazy, petty person. I feel some of those things. I won't lie. The anger is white-hot. But when I quiet that down, there's a stronger, clearer feeling underneath it all. I am 100% certain that I would not want the grief of unwittingly marrying a person who had been unfaithful to me for the last year and a half. I would want to know. I would want the opportunity to make a choice about my commitment to an unfaithful partner before I sign a legal document. Before we merge our finances. Before we promise in front of all our friends and family to be true. So, Reddit. Here's my question. X is making me feel like I'm the villain here? The agent of chaos. Am I just acting out of hurt and trying to burn their lives down because mine is in ashes? Or am I about to do something that is fundamentally decent for a stranger? Even if it's messy and painful and will cause a world of hurt in the short term. I have his fiancé's contact info. I'm staring at it right now. What do I do?